Hi, and welcome to session number 4. When you watch our series War on Depression, you may suffer from mental health issues and you may suffer from a personal crisis. And therefore, I would like to congratulate you for recognizing this crisis and that you need some support to eliminate it. Apparently, you needed this crisis in your life, otherwise, it would not have been there. And you start to become aware of something that needs to be changed inside or around you. Something that needed to be changed or adapted already for a long time. Still, you were not ready yet to change it, and now circumstances force you to. Something that needed some change in your life for some time now, but you were not yet willing to change it anyway. Out of fear. Out of fear of losing something, out of fear of being hurt. The crisis in your life is there to motivate you to change, to adjust, to adapt something in your life. Let go of something in your life that no longer deserves your loyalty. Because you are worth more than this, but you haven't believed it yet. And without this crisis, you would still feel you had more to lose than win. And you have nothing left to lose. You feel completely lost. So therefore, you avoid any situation like this at all costs. So until now you did nothing, not really, to change. Therefore sometimes we need a kick in the butt because of this crisis. And because of this crisis it feels like there is more to lose than to win. And so when you have nothing more to lose, you already feel lost completely. And you need some time to grieve, to be in denial, to be angry, to be sad, to attempt to avoid the harsh truth and adapt the readiness for the necessary changes in life, to feel depressed. And that's fine. It's all part of the process. But one thing, you now will find the motivation. You will be forced to find your motivation, to go outside, to be vulnerable, to change, to listen, to do the work, to crawl up from the bottom of your dark pit. Therefore, I congratulate you. Because this crisis will set in motion whatever was on a standstill for too long. And it started to smell bad, didn't it? So be honest with yourself and stop complaining, whining, mourning, or feeling victimized over this crisis. You are not the victim of your unwillingness or inexperience if you don't want to. Take responsibility and turn this crisis into history. It is time to change the chains that shackled you for too long. Stand up and walk in the direction of change. Because you are this solution, nobody else. Today, therefore, I would like to talk to you about the precious value of crisis in our lives. And I know this sounds strange, the precious value of a crisis, because in our minds we label a crisis as negative, something that brings us worries, doubts, anxieties, depression, or despair. Something that makes us feel unsafe, unwanted, undesired, misunderstood, incapable, not worthy. And of course we would like to avoid all these feelings. Of course we would like to avoid this confrontation with our darkest parts hidden deep inside. Of course we strive for positive feelings that give us more of a feeling of safety. Still, as they say, never waste a good crisis.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Even the crisis of a serious illness, a mental breakdown because of an overload on anxiety, worries, doubts, stress, depression. Do you suffer from the loss of control over your personal situation, feelings, emotions and thoughts? The loss of control over your life and how this makes you feel unsafe? Desperately and frantically seeking answers and solutions, not knowing how to solve the situation, becoming so down that you even consider disappearing from life itself. Just disappear into thin air. Do you recognize this? I know I have. I have been there. I know I have been there walking through the darkest night of my soul. I still remember the desperation, the sadness from feeling misunderstood, the sadness of not being seen as the person I truly am, feeling powerless to be vulnerable. I felt disconnected, as if my whole body screamed for recognition and connection with love. And as I walked through this valley of vulnerability, as I walked through situations that made it impossible to hide myself any longer for my feelings, my emotions, my true self, I found myself over there at the bottom of the ocean, still trying to throw away my responsibilities for my own happiness, blaming circumstances and others around me for my misery, throwing them off me like a boomerang of bullshit, only to find out this boomerang of bullshit returned to me. Over and over again it returned to me to smack me in the face head on. The precious value of every crisis is the message inside, the message to ourselves, giving indications about where we went astray, where we're wandering off from the path of vulnerability, emotional connections, the hunger for safety via control, money, material clothes of the emperor, perfectionism, the hunger for appreciation, validation, recognition, the hunger for living up to expectations that I thought my environment would have. The message to ourselves, giving indications about where we went astray, where we're wandering off from the path of truly living the life we would like to live. Truly living a life in love with life instead of living a life in love with fear. Truly living a life in inner peace, personal space and freedom. Motivation. Often we know deep down inside that we are not on the right course, leading the life as we lead it, being in a relationship as we present ourselves in these relationships, doing things or not that harm our health, physically or mentally. We know very well that we have a certain gift to offer the world, a talent, a quality, something beautiful that might benefit others enormously as our sincere presence for someone in need. And we are afraid to show it to the world. We are afraid to be rejected again, to be marked not good or talented enough. So we crawl back into our extinguished dragon dens of despair, hiding from the world, but mainly from ourselves, by disconnecting and feeling lonely and not understood. Most of the time we know perfectly well that we are not on the right course. We are heading for a head-on collision with a concrete wall of crisis. We have had our warnings, we have had our signals, be honest. But still we continue driving 100 miles per hour towards the concrete wall of the crisis ahead, hoping that some Google Maps device of life would bring us an alternative route, that something would save us, that things would not turn out for the worse. And we avoided decisions to make a course correction ourselves. So we drove on 100 miles per hour head on towards this concrete wall of crisis. And I know some people will say, yeah, but now you are telling me that this bad disease, sickness, loss or illness I've got is my own fault? And you may feel agitated, angry, insulted by my words. And that's okay. Just let me ask you one question. Sit down for a moment and stop resisting my words, your disease, illness or sickness. Stop fighting it. Stop hating it for bringing so much discomfort into your life. And ask your body and your illness or your disease the following question. My dear friend, what is the message behind you coming into my life? What are you trying to tell me? How can I change my mindset about you and start seeing you as my savior? And listen. Listen to the answer presented to you. Like you would ask a little child what was wrong when it is said. Like you would listen to a child sincerely concerned about its well-being. Like you would listen to your child and do anything and everything to make it smile again. What is the crisis in your life trying to tell you? What are these discomforting feelings and emotions trying to tell you? Just imagine you went astray, that you got lost and wandered off from the path of life you are supposed to walk. Just imagine that the goal of life is about taking responsibility for your own happiness. That the goal of life is all about the irresistible and natural universal force of connecting, also on an emotional level. That this universal force of connecting is about connecting with love, where fear rules your life. That the goal of life is to reflect creation by being a creative and expressive person yourself. That the goal of life is an invitation to use your gifts, talents, and potential for the good of yourself and humanity. That the goal of life is to reconnect with innocence again. To reconnect with trust, faith, confidence, self-worth, and expression of love. Do you live your life according to these goals? If not, then understand this is why you encounter a crisis in life. A crisis in life is an invitation to make a course correction, which we are not willing to make as long as we believe there is more to lose than to win. As long as our mind tells us that a certain change in life, a course correction, which we deep down inside know is necessary, that this course correction brings in the chances of losing something valuable, our current safeties. And that we might lose more than there is something we might win. And as long as we believe this, we will not change, especially because we get no guarantees or certainties. We get no guarantees or certainties that this change would bring something positive into our lives. So we need to have faith and trust. And those who need to have control over their lives cannot have trust and faith without guarantees and certainties, which makes us uncertain, which brings in worries and doubts and resistance to change. And we stay where we are, and we hold our breath, and we hope for the best, and we choke. True motivation to change your circumstances or yourself only comes when there is more to lose than to win in life. When there is actually nothing more to lose. When we hit rock bottom. When we are walking through the dark night craving for light. Only then we are at our most vulnerable. Only then we open up emotionally. Only then we reach out. Only then we connect. Only then we feel like a little child, deeply hurt, looking for comfort, hugs, and arms around us. And a voice with the confidence of a loving parent that tells us it will be all right. Can you remember some earlier crisis in your life when you felt desperate before? Can you remember how did you feel? Can you remember feeling as if there would never be light again at the end of your tunnel? Can you remember? You shouting out into the dark night for help, even praying maybe. Can you remember? Can you remember that you saw no solutions at that point? What happened next? You're still here and you're still alive. Sad, yes, in your current situation, but hey, still alive. What happened to end this previous crisis? And when this crisis ended, were you still the same person as before? Or did you somehow find the motivation to make changes, to step out of darkness, to return to the light at the entrance of your dark tunnel? In the end, in the eye of the storm of your crisis, were you able to build your life around this crisis, not forgetting about it? The memory remains, but not as the same person, nor should you have the desire to come out as the same person. Your previous crisis was like rebirthing. A new you emerged from the flames, like the Phoenix remix. And you surrendered because you completely lost control, because you were desperate, not knowing what to do anymore, and you surrendered. You surrendered to some trust, to some faith, to some patience. Letting time pass, letting all the emotions and feelings be as they were, and you had no choice but to do so. Until one day you reached the light at the end of your tunnel. Circumstances changed in a positive way. Emotions and feelings changed in a positive way. Your alignment with living life in love with life changed in a positive way only by surrendering. Surrendering to trust, to faith, to patience and compassion for yourself. Because you had no other choice. So maybe this time now you feel that changes must be made in your life. Don't wait any longer and set your intentions. Dare to write down what you do need and what you do want in your life. Dare to have confidence that these changes will come without more or worse crisis. When the time is right, even if you feel impatient at the moment, even when you feel impatient for a change, the change will come when the time is right. And it's not up to you to decide when the right time is there. Even when you have no clue how these changes can be made feasible or put into practice, don't worry about the plans and the details. Just don't. Just bring some clarity into your body about what you really want in your life. And you will know when the time is right. When is the proper time that this will come into your life, and how and in which format. Don't worry. You will feel it when the moment is there. Just surrender. Have trust. Have faith. Have patience. Love will lead you. Your body will tell you. Your intuition will tell you. Your creativity will tell you. Your inspiration will tell you. When you tune in to the right channel. When you want your personal radio set to broadcast a different type of music rather than the music you are listening to right now. But you will first have to change the frequency, find another radio channel, and find the radio station and the channel that broadcasts the soul music you really like. And that makes you sing along and dance again through life. Enjoy life. Enjoy love. Enjoy yourself. I salute you.